This is North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN.
6 minutes after 7 o'clock. Glad you're here with us on Game On. I'm Katie B. Davis. You're listening to AM 550, FM 102.9, WDUN. We've got people coming in and out of the studio trying to catch our attention. It's not working. I'm focused today on your nightly dose of sports talk on North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
Who was that just came through here?
That was your boss's son.
I should have been much more respectful then.
That was Mr. Jacobs. You can call him Mr. Jacobs from now on, Brian. John Jacobs, big-time golfer at Lakeview Academy, just came through here. He didn't speak to us, though. He spoke to our new intern, Kira. He didn't speak to me and Brian, but that's fine. That's fine. Where we are on the totem pole. I think we're non-existent on the totem pole, Brian. That's fine, though. 7 minutes after 7 o'clock. The men's and women's Sweet 16 is set. And for one team in particular, history was made en route to its bid. The BYU women's basketball team earned a 12 seed in the NCAA tournament after upset wins against NC State and Nebraska. And now they find themselves facing, dun, 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 the University of Connecticut women, led by the one, the only, Gino Auriemma. Brianna Stewart schooling peeps left and right. Kalena Mosqueda-Lewis doing the same from beyond the three-point line. And then there's Stephanie Dolson, best passer in the nation at 6'5". You put her up on the high post, there's nothing that young lady can't do. But that's all beside the point, because joining the show this evening is BYU women's coach Jeff Judkins. Coach, your team just the third, and thank you for being with us this evening, sir. Your team just the third 12 seed in the history of the women's tournament to make it to the Sweet 16. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means that, we probably were in a smaller conference where we didn't dominate the conference, so we didn't get as high a seed as we needed to. But I think what it shows is that any team, that's why this NCAA tournament is so exciting, that any team, any given night can beat anybody. And you have to be ready all the time. And, we came out and probably played our best basketball the last two games, and that's what teams can do in this tournament. You can come out and play well and have a chance to advance and be part of this fun tournament.
For those of us over on the East Coast, with the exception of the NCAA women's basketball tournament, there's not a lot of familiarity with the schools on the West Coast, but in the West, not necessarily on the West Coast. So, if you will, tell our listening audience about the makeup of this team you've got. And I want you to point out one player in particular, and that's Miss Jennifer Hampson. Boy, I have become a big fan of hers over the last couple of days, the last couple of games. So tell us about your team.
Well, first of all, I have a 6'7" post, which you mentioned, Jennifer Hampson. She led the country in block shots. She's almost had 4 triple-doubles. She's been one block short of that 4 times. And so she's had an opportunity to – and she's just a versatile type center for us. She can score inside. She can score really outside. She hits jumpers if she has to, and a great rebounder, and offensively, she just anticipates so well, blocking shots and really helping her teammates out. I have a wing player named Lexi Eaton, who is our second leading scorer, and she is the type of player that can drive it. She can run the floor well. She can shoot the three. She's got a great pull-up game. She tore her ACL last year. If we would have had her last year, we probably would have had another great season. She causes a lot of problems with her scoring ability and the way she plays, very aggressive. Then I have a kid named Morgan Bailey who is an inside player who can post up, can shoot the three, very good defender in the post. She's very physical, and she had to guard a lot of the posts this weekend, and she did a great job with that. And then I have a shooting guard named Kim Beeston, who is a 5-year senior. She started for me for the last 4 years. Great three-point shooter, excellent passer in the post and that. And then defensively, she's kind of my wild card. She can guard really almost anybody on the floor. She doesn't look like it with her body. She's not a real strong physical player, but she's smart. And then I have a little point guard from Hawaii who tore ACL last year also and came back. And she is really playing well. She runs our team, gets us in our offense, can shoot the balls, quick penetrator. And then I have 3 players come off the bench that are very, very good defensive players that come in and really can spark us in a lot of different ways. And the last game against Nebraska, Jojan Harry came in, hit some threes for us, and really sparked our team. And I've had Ashley Garfield come in and do the same, and a girl named Steph Ravetti come in and help us win some games. So this team is a team, and I know people hear that all the time, but it really is. They play together. They don't care who gets the glory. They just play together. And to tell you the truth, that's how UConn plays. Gino has done a great job with that, taking great players and combining them together. And that's why they're so hard to beat, is because they're so they have so many different weapons and they play so well together. And that's what we've tried to do.
Coach Judkins, 2 things that I loved that you said. One thing you said implicitly, one you alluded to. You always mention the defensive efforts of your girls, and that's so important in this juncture of the season. But then to also mention the chemistry, the fact that they feed off of each other. That's evident when watching you all play. A couple more questions before we wrap up. I know you're busy. You're getting prepared for the University of Connecticut, and we'll get to that matchup to wrap up this interview. But your girls showed a lot of resiliency against Nebraska. A large lead got slimmed down to a very small lead, yet you were still able to, through free throws and very smart defensive plays, come out on the winning end. Talk about the resiliency of this year's group at BYU, and is that a result of the leadership that your upperclassmen show?
Yes, I think having a 5-year senior and having another senior who really has played so many big games, I think, has helped. You hope as a coach that when the season starts and you have opportunities to coach them and tell them these things and show them that it sinks in, and I think that's what happened. You know, we've had some tough games over the season. We've had some games that were close, like you just mentioned, up 17, and have a team come back, and then we've had to deal with that. We've been down 17 and come back. So I think during the season play, as a coach, you have to take those moments to really spend time with your team and talk about those things and try to gain confidence in your team when those situations happen. And that's what they did there tonight. We let them get back in the game, and I told my team at a timeout, I just said, "Look, we got to play our basketball. We got to defend the next 3 or 4 possessions, and then offensively, we got to come down and get the ball into Jen, or get the ball to Lexi, and we need to run a play and run it right." And that's what they did.
Continuing our conversation on this Wednesday edition of Game On with Brigham Young University women's basketball coach Jeff Judkins, whose team on Monday night became just the 3rd 12th seed in NCAA women's tournament history to make the Sweet 16. Coach, you all beat NC State, you beat Nebraska, now you face UConn. Now it's a tall order, but a great opportunity. How are you getting your girls ready to face this juggernaut?
Well, it's hard. You know, they've dominated women's basketball for so long, and they still are they're the top team in the country, and he does a great job. You know, there's no question. Would I rather play somebody else? But you know, if you want to win the championship, you're going to have to go through Connecticut. Everybody knows that, and so playing them now or playing them whenever doesn't really make a difference. I just want my team to come out and play with confidence, play together, and play their game and give their best effort. And hopefully UConn will come out and not play their best game and play an average game, and maybe our best game and their average game will be it'll be a really fun opportunity.
If the last 2 games are any indication of the way you all are going to play, I think you're going to be very, very proud of your young ladies come this weekend. Quickly, Coach, as we wrap up this interview on Game On with Coach Judkins of BYU, I heard you mention that you know you spent time in the NBA and you played college men's basketball, obviously, but you like coaching women more. I appreciated that statement. I want to know why you feel that way.
Well, you know, I have 3 daughters, and my 3 daughters played sports, and so, you know, you don't love your son any more than your daughter when they're playing sports. But the one thing I've really enjoyed on the women's side for me is that these girls are competitors, and they will execute and listen to me to a fault, which, as a coach, in the men's game, it's a lot more one-on-one. Players can do that. The women's game, you have to work as a unit. You have to work together. And so for a coach, you have to be sharp. You have to be able to put your team in the best position. I've had some people come to me and say, well, hey, men's coaches can out-coach you, the men. And I'm going, you put them in my situation and see what they can do. It's tough. It's hard. There's the women's game has changed. In my 13 years, it's changed. They're way more athletic. They're getting better coaches earlier in their career, so they become more knowledgeable. And but it's just been a lot of fun. I mean, I go on the road, and we're focused. Our team's very focused, but we also enjoy each other's company, and we do a lot of good things together. And this team I have this year is very, very tight, very close. And you mentioned chemistry. That's a big part of women's basketball, is chemistry.
Couldn't agree with you more. Coach Jeff Judkins, thank you for taking some time out.
Hey, you're welcome.
Enjoy your practice the next couple of days. Enjoy the matchup with UConn and the Sweet 16, sir. You all deserve it so much. I appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me on. And I did recruit a girl from there named Danny Kubik. She was from Atlanta. Was a really good player for me. So hopefully she'll listen tonight.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tweet it out. I'll make sure she'll listen tonight. Thanks, Coach Judkins.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
What a great guy he is, and we appreciate him joining us tonight on Game On. Going to be a tall order. Beating UConn. Beating NC State, beating Nebraska, that's one thing. UConn's on a whole nother level. You all know this. I've talked about it plenty during Game On. And Coach Judkins knows it, too. You heard how he talked about them almost in a manner of reverence. How would you feel as a coach taking a team to play another team that you speak about with a manner of reverence? That's pretty scary. I can't wait to watch him play, though. That Jen Hampson, talked about her yesterday. 6'7", unbelievable. The perfect melding of her parents, I think, was the word usage. It's going to be a fun game to watch. All right, folks, 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, the men's Sweet 16. Who do I have winning on my bracket? Who do I think's going to win? Those are two very different things. Come on back and join us. This is Game On WDUN.